A galaxy is a system of stars, stellar remnants, interstellar gas, dust, and dark matter bound together by gravity. The word is derived from the Greek galaxias, literally milky, a reference to the Milky Way galaxy that contains the solar system. Galaxies, averaging an estimated 100 million stars, range in size from dwarfs with less than 1,000 stars to the largest galaxies known, supergiants with 100 trillion stars, each orbiting its galaxy's center of mass. Most of the mass in a typical galaxy is in the form of dark matter, with only a few percent of that mass visible in the form of stars and nebulae. Supermassive black holes are a common feature at the centers of galaxies. Galaxies are categorized according to their visual morphology as elliptical, spiral, or irregular. The Milky Way is an example of a spiral galaxy. It is estimated that there are between 200 billion, 2 cent 11, to 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. Most galaxies are 1,000 to 100,000 parsecs in diameter. The space between galaxies is filled with a tenuous gas, the intergalactic medium, with an average density of less than 1 atom per cubic meter. Most galaxies are gravitationally organized into groups, clusters, and superclusters. The Milky Way is part of the local group, which it dominates along with the Andromeda Galaxy. The group is part of the Virgo supercluster. At the largest scale, these associations are generally arranged into sheets and filaments surrounded by immense voids. Both the local group and the Virgo supercluster are contained in a much larger cosmic structure named Laniakea. The word galaxy was borrowed via French and medieval Latin from the Greek term for the Milky Way, galaxias, kuklos, galaxias, kyklos, milky, circle, named after its appearance as a milky band of light in the sky. In the astronomical literature, the capitalized word galaxy is often used to refer to the Milky Way galaxy, to distinguish it from the other galaxies in the universe. Galaxies were initially discovered telescopically and were known as spiral nebulae. Most 18th to 19th century astronomers considered them as either unresolved star clusters or extragalactic nebulae. 220, but their true composition and natures remained a mystery. Observations using larger telescopes of a few nearby bright galaxies, like the Andromeda Galaxy, began resolving them into huge conglomerations of stars, but based simply on the apparent faintness and sheer population of stars, the true distances of these objects placed them well beyond the Milky Way. For this reason, they were popularly called island universes. Harlow Shapley began to advocate for the term galaxy and against using universes and nebula for the objects, but the very influential Edwin Hubble stuck to nebulae. The nomenclature did not fully change until Hubble's death in 1953. Millions of galaxies have been catalogued, but only a few have well-established names, such as the Andromeda Galaxy, the Magellanic Clouds, the Whirlpool Galaxy, and the Sombrero Galaxy. Astronomers work with numbers from certain catalogs, such as the Messier Catalog, the NGC, New General Catalog, the IC, Index Catalog, the CGCG, Catalog of Galaxies and of Clusters of Galaxies, the MCTG, Morphological Catalog of Galaxies, the UGC, Uppsala, General Catalog of Galaxies, and the PGC, Catalog of Principal Galaxies, also known as LIDA. All the well-known galaxies appear in one or more of these catalogs, but each time under a different number. For example, Messier 109, or M109, is a spiral galaxy having the number 109 in the catalog of Messier. It also has the designations NGC 3992, UGC 6937, CGCG 269023, MCG Pluto 9 20044, and PGC 37617, or LIDA 37617, among others. Millions of fainter galaxies are known by their identifiers in sky surveys such as the Sloan Digital Sky Survey. Greek philosopher Democritus, 450–370 BCE, proposed that the bright band on the night sky known as the Milky Way might consist of distant stars. Aristotle, 384–1322 BCE, however, believed the Milky Way was caused by the ignition of the fiery exhalation of some stars that were large, numerous, and close together, and that the ignition takes place in the upper part of the atmosphere, in the region of the world that is continuous with the heavenly motions. Neoplatonist philosopher Olympiodorus the Younger, c. 495–570 CE, was critical of this view, arguing that if the Milky Way was sublunary, situated between Earth and the Moon, it should appear different at different times and places on Earth, and that it should have parallax, which it did not. In his view, the Milky Way was celestial. According to Mohani Mohammed, Arabian astronomer Ibn al-Haytham, 965–1037, made the first attempt at observing and measuring the Milky Way's parallax, and he thus determined that because the Milky Way had no parallax, it must be remote from the Earth, not belonging to the atmosphere. Persian astronomer al-Biruni, 973–1048, proposed the Milky Way galaxy was a collection of countless fragments of the nature of nebulous stars. Andalusian astronomer Avim Pas, d. in 1138, proposed that it was composed of many stars that almost touched one another and appeared to be a continuous image due to the effect of refraction from sublunary material, citing his observation of the conjunction of Jupiter and Mars as evidence of this occurring when two objects were near. In the 14th century, Syrian-born Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya proposed the Milky Way galaxy was a myriad of tiny stars packed together in the sphere of the fixed stars. Actual proof of the Milky Way consisting of many stars came in 1610 when the Italian astronomer Galileo Galilei used a telescope to study it and discovered it was composed of a huge number of faint stars. In 1750, English astronomer Thomas Wright, in his An Original Theory or New Hypothesis of the Universe, correctly speculated that it might be a rotating body of a huge number of stars held together by gravitational forces akin to the solar system, but on a much larger scale, and that the resulting disk of stars could be seen as a band on the sky from a perspective inside it. In his 1755 treatise, Immanuel Kant elaborated on Wright's idea about the Milky Way's structure. The first project to describe the shape of the Milky Way and the position of the Sun was undertaken by William Herschel in 1785 by counting the number of stars in different regions of the sky. He produced a diagram of the shape of the galaxy with the solar system close to the center. Using a refined approach, Kapteyn in 1920 arrived at the picture of a small, diameter about 15 kiloparsecs, ellipsoid galaxy with the Sun close to the center. A different method by Harlow Shapley based on the cataloging of globular clusters led to a radically different picture. A flat disk with diameter approximately 70 kiloparsecs and the Sun far from the center. Both analyses failed to take into account the absorption of light by interstellar dust present in the galactic plane. But after Robert Julius Trumpler quantified this effect in 1930 by studying open clusters, the present picture of the Milky Way galaxy emerged.